What's up guys, welcome to Tips Tuesday with Hayden. In this video, I'm going to go over 5 simple sales techniques that are crucial for your success, that are going to allow you to have better conversations and build better relationships with the clients. If you're a beginner, this video is for you, and if you're advanced, you're also going to learn something here. So listen in, and by the end of this video, you are going to know 5 crucial new sales techniques that are going to help you close so many more deals. Okay, so tip number 1 is building rapport. This is crucial to do at the start of the conversation. Now, what is rapport? Guys, rapport is very simple to do once you understand exactly what it is. So rapport is simply building a genuine connection with the prospect, finding some middle grounding where you don't feel like a total stranger to this person anymore, and it makes the conversation go a lot more easier and a lot more smoother. So guys, ways to build rapport at the start of the conversation is by a bit of small talk even. It's all about asking these little questions like, where are you from? What did you get up to on the weekend? So these open-ended questions, guys, allow the customer to speak, and this is where our duty to find that common ground where we can go in and start to connect with the customer and build that trust. For example, if I was speaking to John on a sales call and I said, John, what did you get up to on the weekend? And John said, look, I went for a surf on Sunday, caught up with the family. I'd say, wow, John, amazing. I love surfing too. Where did you surf? What are the breaks like? Otherwise, if I wasn't a surfer, I'd say, oh, fantastic, John, you have a family? How many people are in your family? Now, for example, if I was talking to a female and I said, what did you get up to on the weekend? And she said, I went to the beauty salon, I got my nails done, all this stuff that was totally non-relatable for myself. I'll turn around and say, well, oh, fantastic. Wasn't it a good weekend to just have a bit of spare time to catch up with friends? I did that too. Like with some friends, wasn't it just such a good time to catch up with friends? I did that as well. I went surfing with a bunch of friends, went to dinner with some friends. See, guys, with rapport, even if someone is saying something that's totally non-relatable, dive deeper, because there is ways that you can relate to this customer, and it's going to instantly build that trust and that connection. To simplify things, at the end of the day, it is very important that you're getting your customer to like you and trust you with whatever you're offering them. So you want to be very, very genuine and authentic about this. You don't want to compromise yourself. You want to be completely yourself, but find a way to build middle grounding with this customer. And if you have to do small talk, that's absolutely fine. But ask these open-ended questions where it gets the customer speaking about themselves, and then it's your duty and your responsibility to find ways that you can relate to this customer. Now, if you do this at the start of the conversation, it's super important because it builds that trust, that good connection for the rest of the call when it comes to discussing the thing that you're offering them and the thing that they potentially need. So guys, the best way to memorize this is just when you meet someone new. It's basically finding out what their similarities are and if they're relatable to you. And if not, it's your duty to put in that effort to find that middle grounding as a sales rep so you can build that connection, because at the end of the day, you're there to help this person with whatever you're offering. They've got a problem, they've come to you for the potential solution, so you need to find that middle ground and build that rapport, build that trust and connection, so then you can eventually help this person with the solution that you're about to offer them. So tip number 2, guys, is active listening. This is such a crucial step that most reps seem to get wrong. Now, what I mean by that, guys, is when you're asking these open-ended questions to build rapport, you want to let your customer just speak, and you want to sit there and be present and actively listen to what your customer has to say. Imagine when you're in a conversation and you're explaining a story and someone is saying, yep, 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 as you're explaining a story. It kind of just interferes and it just kind of breaks that connection, guys, because you actually know deep down that this person's not really listening to you. They're just sitting there just waiting to be able to have their opportunities to speak, and you know that they're not actually listening to you. So guys, how to actively listen is to just sit there and be fully present with the customer. Don't think about the script, don't think about anything, just completely download all the information in your brain of what this customer is trying to tell you. Because guys, it's going to be great for a number of reasons. One, you're going to probably be able to find middle grounding where you can connect with that customer and build rapport. But second of all, is you're actually going to hear the customer's problems for the day. It is your duty to solve this customer's problem. By doing that, you need to actively listen to this customer and actually make them feel heard about what they've got to say. Now, you want to be really authentic and genuine in this approach. You want to let the customer speak, and you want to let them open up, give them a place to speak. It is not your job to just go in there and just try and force a product down a customer's throat. It's not how it works. When you get advanced with sales, it's more about connecting and being genuine with these people, letting them speak, because your job is to help these people help themselves. So actively listen, let the customer speak. Do not butt in. If you're in person, give them eye contact. Just fully give yourself to that person and be present. And guys, it's going to pay off, because that person's going to feel much more heard. They're going to respect you instantly. You're going to build rapport. So guys, tip number 2, actively listening. Do not forget it. It is crucial. The third tip, guys, is product knowledge. This is a super important sales tip to understand. So guys, product knowledge is everything. You need to know the product inside out that you're selling, not only to be able to handle objections, but to be perceived as professional in your field. People are wanting to be dealing with professionals in their space, and if you don't have that confidence and you're not perceived as an expert or professional in what you're selling, then good luck. So you need to study the product inside out of what you're selling. If you're to the field, that means taking time after work to study it before you go to sleep, study it when you wake up. You need to know your product inside out. Now, another reason that you also want to have excellent product knowledge, guys, is because you'll be able to speak with conviction. Conviction is one of the most important parts when it comes to sales. Now, let me tell you something, guys. Power of selling is not trying to get someone to believe what you're saying. There's a slight difference. It's actually having the belief of what you're saying is true that radiates that energy towards the customer and persuades them through conviction that they definitely want what you're offering. Guys, you don't want to get this wrong in sales when you're trying to get the customer to believe in what you're saying. It does not work like that. You need to believe in what you're saying and what you're pitching and what you're selling, because when you're at 100% belief and enthusiasm and conviction of what you're selling, that is going to transfer and radiate that energy towards the customer, where they're going to be absolutely influenced and persuaded to buy that product. Now, that's all it is, guys. When you're in a conversation with two people, whether it's me and someone else, or you and someone else, highest energy always wins, guys. Highest energy always wins, and the power of influencing is 150% believing in what you're saying. So how does this come back to product knowledge? This all comes back to product knowledge, guys. It's knowing exactly what you're selling, why you're selling it, and believing in what you're selling it. If you do not believe in the product that you're selling it, there is absolutely no way that you're going to be in the top 1% of your field. So you might be looking for a different sales role if you do not believe in the product. Now, if you think that you might, otherwise you want to simply trick yourself into believing this does work. And now how you would do that is you would go through testimonials, you would go through the results from the customers that had purchased this product or service. You would find all the information of proof that this product works. You would study that, and that would empower your belief of that this product or service works really, really well, which would then actually radiate towards the customer. So if you feel like you do not believe in the product or the service you're selling, it's time to go find some evidence to back it all up that it does work, and then it becomes a no-brainer to you that you 100% believe it, and that you will be able to radiate to that towards the customer. So that all ties into how important product knowledge actually is. So guys, tip number 4 is handling objections, and this is an extremely important part that will usually happen towards the end of the call, about to close. So guys, be prepared and understand your most common objections. Make sure every industry has about 3 common objections. Them you want to study inside out so that they just come out and those words flow like water, and you know how to handle those objections quickly and suavely, and then you will always be in the safe zone. However, guys, sometimes customers will give you more complicated objections that you may not know how to answer, but it is very, very important that when it comes to the objections that you are really listening to that customer, because the last thing you want to do when a customer gives you an objection is go through and just try to solve the problem when you haven't listened to them, and it's completely something different to what that customer is saying, and then they will just feel unheard and it will scare them away from the sale. So guys, I will tell you my process when it comes to handling objections and how to do it like an absolute boss that helps me get a ton of sales. Guys, when a customer gives me an objection, usually I will repeat that objection to them after they're finished, and then I will agree with them. So for instance, if someone says to me, oh look, you know what, I don't think I can afford this, or this is too expensive, I would say, look, I understand, yeah, I couldn't afford this either, I thought it was too expensive, but there is ways around this, okay? And then I would map that out. So guys, with objections, this is very, very important, because so when you're doing the sale, guys, say this is the opening and this is the close, you're literally essentially want to get to that close quickly as possible and complete that mission of getting the deal or the sale. Now, what will usually happen towards the end of the call, you will start to get these objections. Now, those objections are actually going to take you off this straight line, and it's going to either go up or down, and it's your duty to handle these objections quickly and suavely as possible that you can get back on track and get ready for the close. Now, what happens, guys, with objections is you need to answer them shortly and sharply, and you need to be suave about it, give a clear answer, and do not waffle on or go too off track, otherwise you will lose control and you will lose the sale. So guys, going back to this straight line sale, what I mean is as you get through and if someone gives you an objection, you are now off the straight line. You need to answer that quickly and suavely as possible to get back on track and get ready for the close. If you start to waffle on too much and you lose control, what actually happens is the objection comes all the way up here and you are much further away from the close now. So you see what I mean, guys? Objections are not actually that difficult. Don't overcomplicate them. Just understand what the customer's objecting. Your product, know the industry, know how to handle that objection suavely. Be prepared for objections. Don't get nervous. Stay composed and simply just handle the objection and then bring it on the straight line and then keep going towards the close. So guys, so to really simplify it, guys, when it comes to handling objections are very simple when you understand this, and it helps you maintain control and get many more sales. Okay guys, the fifth and final technique is the close. Now this is one of my favorite parts. What I love to do when it comes to the close is assumptive closing. Now, what I mean by assumptive closing, you are not asking the customer for their approval. You actually assume that they're going to go ahead with the sale. For instance, you're booking an appointment at 6 p.m. tomorrow for the customer and you're doing an appointment setting role. You would say, okay, cool, look, everything sounds great. I'm going to book you in at 6 p.m. tomorrow. How does that sound? So it's just you're assuming that that customer is going to take that role because you've done your job correctly and you've given them all the right information that it is an absolute no-brainer that they would object or say no to it. So that's where you want to come with that suave confidence. So guys, coming up to the close, there is a part that's missing there, and that's called disarming the customer. So what you want to do by disarming the customer is you want to make sure that you've handled all the objections, you've given them all the information, you've built that rapport, that it is an absolute no-brainer as to why they would say no to this. This is something that you literally can just feel in the sale. So guys, before you get to the close, you might think, okay, there needs to be a little bit more work. I need to ask more questions. I need to dive deeper. I need to build that connection. There's not enough conviction yet. The customer doesn't seem convinced. If the customer doesn't seem convinced, do not even get into the close yet. Just stop and be calm and keep discovering that customer's needs, and you're going to eventually feel that connection where you can start to get into the close. Now, this is something that just comes with the experience. It's literally like a gut feeling that you know when you're ready to go in for the close. Now, and you want to even give the customer options, so there's no option to say yes or no. For instance, you'd say to the customer, okay, look, the price of the product is actually $2,500, but I could do the price of the product for you for $2,000 on this call. Otherwise, we can split it up into weekly payments over the next 6 weeks. Which option would you prefer? So guys, it's just little things like this where you give the customer options of what to pick instead of saying no. So depending on what service you have or what product you're trying to sell, it's always good to have these payment options because it actually just eliminates the customer's option to be able to say no and gets their brain thinking of which options are actually just going to suit them better. Guys, assumptive closing in this way by giving a customer payment options is really going to simplify that customer's decision of saying yes, but now it's just a question of how are they going to say yes, and it leaves much less room for no. So this, guys, is a really big tip. If you have your own business or your own service, offer those payment options and you are going to see such an increase in sales. Guys, to add a bit of extra value, how you would do this is if the customer was to pay upfront with you, you would offer them a significant discount so you can get the full cash amount collected on that call on the day. Otherwise, if the customer wants to go with a split payment option, you would just increase that option in weekly installments, which means, okay, it's not a bad thing. You will get the money over time. However, increasing the percentage, say by 10%, 15%, whatever it may be, the customer's probably going to want to get some savings and it's going to drive them to pick the upfront option. So this is how you not only get more cash collected, but you also avoid the customer saying no. So when the customer asks you what the price is, that's when you're ready to close. Always wait for the customer to ask you what the price of the product or the service is. If you feel like it's too early, delay it later in the call. Say, great, just before I get into the financial investment, do you have any other questions or concerns? If the customer says no, then that's when it's for you to give them the price. Give them the price and then just say, these are the options, which one's gonna suit you better. Assume and do an assumptive close that they're going to go ahead, and you will notice your sales skyrocketing, guys, skyrocket. So guys, these are the 5 simple sales techniques that are going to help you build better relationships with your clients, close many more deals, and enjoy your job much more. Recap these, go over these as much as possible. I promise you, if you apply all 5 of these techniques, you are going to notice a dramatic change. Now guys, all I ask by providing this value to you, like this video, subscribe below, and share this with someone that would actually help them. Because duty here with all my sales experience and expertise is to give you advice and much value that you can also be winning in the game, enjoying life more, because guys, let's face it, you want to be a winner in whatever you're doing. Don't worry, I'm here to help you every step of the way. And thank you for watching this video, and get ready to win.